What's up, Dunwoody? Welcome back to the podcast, all about Dunwoody, Georgia. I'm your host, Matt Weber. Show's brought to you by Village Orthodontics, the best orthodontist in town. Alan, how are your teeth looking?
Yes,
Good?
Mike's teeth are good. I didn't do Village. My wife did.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We've talked about this
Yeah,
before.
yeah,
So,
yeah. This is our plug.
Alan's been on the podcast a few times. You started with, you're kind of special here for me because you were like our very first interview, I want to say, at the
Pretty
Nature
close.
Center. Yeah,
Yeah.
long time ago. I think it was episode 6 or 7.
This feels less podcast and more like required catch-up time.
Yeah.
I saw you at the DHA meeting last week, but prior to that, I hadn't seen you in a while. So this feels like required. Like instead of like going to get a beer, we'll do the 9 o'clock morning catch-up.
There we go. And then I'll post it so everybody can hear our conversation.
Sure. Or we could like run and get beers real quick and we like pretend we're doing this at night.
Yep. And that was one of our other episodes. I want to say it was like around 100 or maybe 50. Was that placemaking with Hayward? Remember? We sat at Contrast Brewery.
Contrast, yeah. How many episodes have you guys done now?
This
like what number is this?
250-ish.
Wow. That's crazy. And how many years?
Since 2018 is when you were at the Nature Center. So
wow, that's amazing. That's that's awesome. Congrats. That's cool.
Well, enough about us though. Let's start talking about the Spruill Center for the Arts and Artistic Affair, not affairs.
Affair, just one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have our annual fundraiser coming up on March 23rd. So literally a month from today of recording, maybe not by the time it goes out, but a month from today of recording. This is our annual fundraiser. So we've did the traditional fundraiser for decades here at Spruill. And then in 2022, we decided to bring it back here to our education center and we made it like this big party. So it was an awesome event. We had like the bourbon tasting and we had different like DJ, and we used all of the interior space of our existing building and then our old courtyard for the event. And the turnout was great. And the reaction was even better. Like people were like, this was so much fun. Didn't feel like a fundraiser. So then last year,
and that was a tiny building, right?
That was our, yeah. And not only that, but like we had to do some serious cleanup in that courtyard to make it look presentable. It was, I mean, that courtyard is like 50 something years old. It was rough. Yeah. So last year we were thinking that we were going to start construction on our expansion. And so we moved to the factory in Chamblee, and last year was crazy. We had 368 people, and it was like total throwdown. It was awesome. Yeah. Like if you go to our website and look at the pictures, we have like best dress contest. We had a DJ. We had like roaming illusionists and fortune tellers and portrait artists and live paintings. And the coolest thing I think about our auction is all the work, not all the work, but most of the work is from our artists. So like it's the only fundraiser where you can come and get a nice piece of art from an artist at Spruill while supporting the organization. It's super cool. It's definitely like, not even saying this because it's ours, but like I love going to that event. It's fun. Like fundraisers are sometimes not fun. Like this is a fun event. Like we've had to kick people out the last 2 years. You know, like flicker the lights and like, all right, y'all, and we do valet. I'm like, time for you guys to call an Uber and get rolling.
I've heard about the short barrel guys, throwing around money to get what they want.
Oh my gosh,
and stuff.
Yeah, they were hilarious. So that's my second part that I love about it too, is like the community support. So the short barrel guys had just bought Old Fourth, and so they did like a private tour of the new warehouse, and they let one of the guests taste straight from the barrel. Like that was part of our live auction. Billy did some stuff with NFA where he does like this bougie catered dinner, which is like, kind of out of pocket because we used to eating at the picnic tables. Plus like, it's going to be, and this year is like even crazier. Can I give a quick tease to it?
Yeah, go for it.
I brought props this time. Like
this is your show, Alan.
Nice. See that?
Yeah.
Can you see what that is?
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Our friends from Joey D's helped us acquire a bottle of Pappy Van Winkle Family Reserve 12 that we're going to auction off at our live auction.
There you go.
So it is shaping up to be another big party.
That's awesome. And where are you going to have this party?
Awesome question.
Is that
so
a good lead-in?
That was perfect. Yeah, it was like we didn't even plan that at all. So as you may have heard, we have this huge expansion project we've been working on since April. We added 8,300 square feet to our existing 10,800 square feet footprint. And that new space is 7 studios and a community room that adds to our existing programming capabilities here at the Education Center. The other cool part is we took that decrepit courtyard that I was talking about and we put in a brand new courtyard. I'll send you a picture of it that you can post if you want. And the new courtyard is got AstroTurf and poured paths. We've got a stage that we'll eventually cover so we can do cross-programming, concerts, pop-up, art markets. We've got lighting in there where there was no lighting before. We re-landscape with 23 trees, and we're going to finish the rest of the landscaping next week. So everything should be done in time for this event. We had the tenting company out for the event last week, and it's like there's so much space. Like
Yeah.
It
was way more than I was expecting when we did the homeowners association meeting there last week.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a cool area.
Yeah. Like, I mean, it is a super cool area. And then one of the things that was like a fortunate mistake, if you will, is when we built out the old building, the original plans were too close to the existing building. So we were afraid we were going to undermine it by digging out for the new building. So we pushed everything out another 10 feet. And that now gave us 10 feet of like covered porch space in the lower studios in the community room.
Yeah. And so with the garage doors, you can open the garage doors.
Yeah. Yeah. And just that hangout space, like it rained last night, which was weird, but unexpected. And it's like all dry in there still. So like if we have an event, we can use like, we'll probably put one of the things we're doing, you mentioned the Short Barrel guys, we're pairing their bourbon tasting this year with a cool new student that we found out. Here's more props coming. Let's see if you can see that.
I cannot see that one. Oh, is that a Spruill logo though?
On a
cigar of some kind.
Yes. So we have one of our features of the event this year is we have hand-rolled cigars from Swigert Cigar Company, who's one of our students. They run a business called Cigartainment. And so they'll go all around the country and do hand-rolled cigars and talk about that. So we're pairing that with the bourbon tasting from Short Barrel and Old Forth. I texted our buddy Clinton and I'm like, hey, we have a student that's doing cigar rolling. Can we pair that with yours? And he texted back. He goes, well, that's the easiest yes ever.
He's funny. I like those guys.
Yeah. So it's going to be a super cool event. We're really looking forward to it. We're expecting about 350 guests this year. So about the same as last year. We'll probably cap it at that. Can I go ahead and give a preemptive strike?
Yeah.
Yes. So guys,
keep asking for permission for things.
Okay. All right. It's like my show, right? You're just part of it.
You got
Great. This event will sell out. So this happened last year. This happened the year before. The event is going to sell out. Please, and you know who you are, do not text me the Friday before this event and be like, oh, I'm so sorry. I meant to get tickets. I just forgot. Or I had plans and I don't have plans. I understand. It is hard for us to do that. We're trying to get ready for the party. So just go ahead and get your tickets now. You've got a month. If you don't do it today, you can do it in the next coming days. But just go ahead and get them now because this is going to sell out. We are going to close the doors before the event. All right.
I'll try to help remind people. How about that?
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Out a little bit.
I appreciate it.
That's, I mean, that area is really cool. And is it public? Can anybody go back there?
Yeah. So we're finishing final touches like in the next couple of weeks. But this whole courtyard was designed with the community in mind. It is public space. It's really almost like a new little pocket park that's part of the Dunwoody, parks inventory. So we connect, in case your viewers don't know, we connect with the Dunwoody Library and Stage Door Theater. And now we have this courtyard. So if you're going to the library and we have a beautiful day like today, you can come hang out in the courtyard. If you're coming to see the show and you want to hang out there before or after, you can do that. We can cross-program with the library and with the theater. Or you can just come and hang out and use the space. Like there used to be a fence in there. We took that fence out. And the really cool thing we did, we really have a focus on making sure that we're inclusive and that the arts are available to all. So we have an ADA paved sidewalk from the back corner behind the library parking lot that goes from that parking lot into the courtyard, but then also from that back parking lot to the new building and from that back corner of the parking lot to the existing building. So you can park in that back corner parking lot, and you guys that are hardcore Spruill fanatics, please park back there. It's the easiest, most convenient parking.
You don't have a lot of parking. So,
we don't have a ton of parking, but we do actually. Like, we don't have parking up front. Like, we don't have a ton of VIP parking. But that library lot's got like 140 spots, I think.
Yeah.
Like, we got tons of parking.
And so as you're walking up to the library, it's to the right side. So you walk behind the building, and that'll take you around. But it's beautiful. Yeah. I mean, you should at least, if you're over at the library, just walk back there and look, because
absolutely,
I mean, what I saw wasn't finished last week, and it was really cool space. With all the drainage and like there's no gutters or anything. It's all just built in.
It's all underground. Yeah. One of the other nice things that we did as part of the project was we put all that stormwater underground. So we used to shockingly have no stormwater there, which is part of the reason it was in such bad shape. And so we put in all the stormwater, and then we put it underground. So it's under the turf. And as you mentioned, the gutters feed directly into the stormwater. So now anytime it rains, we were able to collect that and get right into the system.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Thank you.
So who exactly, I always like to bring this up because the nonprofits, I think this is just really cool how the city has set this up, where the city buys the land and then gives it to a nonprofit to run. And I guess you're familiar with a lot of the nonprofits doing the you started with the Nature Center, and then now you moved over to Spruill. But can you talk about that a little bit, like how the city works with you guys?
Yeah. So we have what would be considered like a classic public-private partnership with the city of Dunwoody, right? So they are the public entity that owns all of these facilities, these parks, these buildings. There's a facilities authority that controls like our building. And then there's the parks department, right, that helps run the parks and the programming through them with the nonprofits. So the four main partners, and there may be more, and I don't want to neglect anyone, but the four, let's say, legacy partners that have been from like DeKalb, when DeKalb used to run parks, now to Dunwoody, are Spruill Center for the Arts, Dunwoody Preservation Trust, Stage Door Theater, and the Dunwoody Nature Center. And so the city owns all of our properties and all of our land, if you will, and our buildings. And we all have long-term lease agreements with the city to operate programs and to work out of those spaces. And each one's a little bit different, right? Like we pay rent here to work in our building to the city because there's utilities and there's upkeep and maintenance. Like the maintenance crew from the city comes every night and cleans all the classrooms and the hallways and things like that. And an organization like the Nature Center doesn't pay rent because they have hundreds of volunteers that come take care of that park every year, and it saves the city a ton of money, and they don't have a huge electrical bill, right? So the trade-offs are different for each of the different organizations, but the mutual support that we're able to provide and then that the city's able to provide is fantastic. Like we do the arts programming for the city of Dunwoody, and really for the northern part of the perimeter area or the greater perimeter area. So I actually did the numbers yesterday. 46% of our students come from Dunwoody, Chamblee, Brookhaven, Sandy Springs, and Doraville. So 46% come from those areas. The other 54% come from throughout the region to come take classes here. Yeah. So the thing that we're able to do in partnership with the city of Dunwoody and the other nonprofits too, are have these awesome cultural assets that bring people into Dunwoody, and then it also are here for our community. Like I live a mile away from here, so I can walk to the theater if I want to go to a show, and then walk to the village and grab a drink, afterwards. Or I can take my dogs on a walk through the Nature Center because that's accessible. Or hang out at the farmhouse and do their programming there. I mean, it's so many different things that we have. Like Brook Run, I know you spent a lot of time there, right? Killer Park.
Those are the two nonprofits that I like the best, is the Dunwoody Senior Baseball and Rush Union, the two that you didn't bring up.
I know. I skipped those guys. I went legacy. You know what? Dunwoody Senior Baseball would be considered a legacy one, too. I did forget them.
They moved.
They did. Well, and again, so that's part of that public-private, right? They used to be at the ball fields by the Nature Center, and now that's Austin Elementary, and so that's changed. But all those different amenities take some of that burden off the city. Like the amount of work and money and time that the city puts into Brook Run to keep that place going it's a lot. Not only talking about the $6 million to get it to where it is today, but just the day in and day out upkeep of that. The benefit for the city of having these partners is that we're able to use our time, money, and resources to make sure that each of these institutions improves year in and year out.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure that they don't want to deal with hiring soccer coaches and
Right,
that
right,
kind of stuff, and
right.
that's we don't need the city to be doing that. So I think it's
Exactly.
a great way to partner up and team up.
And to the city's credit, they've done, I think, such a fantastic job of expanding the program offerings, right? Like we
Yeah,
had, as I said, these legacy institutions, but the city has added so much programming in such a diverse way. And that's from Brent building up that department, and now Rachel taking that torch and running with it, and she's doing an incredible job in just her first month with some of the programming that we're doing and the spaces and what's available, like even just having the annex space available, where y'all have met before,
yeah,
or doing programming through some of the other partners. It's great. I mean, our city does so much with so little, and
I
it's
know with
really
so little. I was about to say that.
we do. It's crazy how much we've I mean, it's almost like the nonprofit model, right? Like when you're a nonprofit, you're like, don't throw away that tape. We could reuse that on something. And the
Yeah,
city kind of bootstraps it too with what they do and how successful we've become over the past 15 years.
yeah, yep. I think Dunwoody's a success story. I mean, for only being 15 years. I mean, it's been less than 15 years, right? Like it's
Yeah.
crazy how far the city's come.
And 15 years, no taxes raised. Like,
Yeah,
if you look at the plan that was put together for the formation of the city from the Vincent Institute versus where we are now, you wouldn't even recognize it.
yeah, and they wouldn't have thought that we could have gotten that far. I'm sure
No, the
from
buildup of the
Bev
police
Wingate
department and the
days.
parks department and some of the acquisitions and everything. It's amazing. They've done really a great job.
Yeah, yeah. Well, thanks for hosting us with the homeowners association the other day. You were
Yeah, you're welcome to
so
come back on
gracious.
my show anytime.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant hosting on this show since I kept asking you permission. You're welcome to come back on my show anytime, Matthew. This is
Okay.
Alan Mothner for What's Up Dunwoody. Let's thank our guest, Matthew Weber.
Cut. That works great. Well, thanks for coming on, Alan. And
You're welcome.
Artistic Affair. So you can go to the website there's like a little preview. Is that what you said?
Yeah, we've got a little rundown there on what's going on March 23rd. And actually, can I take I'm asking another question.
Go for it, man.
Since it's my show, let me take another moment to invite the public too. If you guys want to come out to the ribbon cutting, it's March 9th. That's a Saturday at 1 o'clock. And we'll be doing the ribbon cutting with the city of Dunwoody, with our board, our instructors, our students, other community partners, supporters, and you guys. So anyone that's listening, we'd love to have you out. Come check out the space. We'll do a little tour. I'm always happy to talk about what we're doing here. So we'd love to see you March 9th at 1 o'clock for the ribbon cutting.
Yeah. And I always like to throw the sponsors out because I sponsor a lot of stuff and I feel like a lot of the time
Awesome.
it's not mentioned. So, and I like these companies. So Northside Hospital,
Yep.
and Trident's the one that did the construction at your
Yep.
building, right? And
That's
then
right. Yeah.
Regency Centers, which you must have an in there because I feel like you get a lot from Regency Center.
So Regency has been great. Ward Williams is kind of our connect there. So Ward's daughter is an artist, and so that definitely helps.
Okay.
But Ward, as you know, like he's been all about building up this community, like the redevelopment with David's Place over at the Village, and a lot of the redevelopment that I was at Barn last night with my son. He's in town. There had to be like a couple hundred people at Barn last night there, and that's all because of the investment of the redevelopment. So yeah, that's Regency.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, you had that party there a few years back, like it was right before COVID, right? Where it was over by Marlowe's.
The world's worst tailgate. Yeah. Yeah, that was awesome.
Party.
Thank you for bringing that up. It's still a sore spot.
Well, it rained. I mean, nobody's gonna.
It rained and it was like 38 degrees. It was like such a confluence of horrible stuff. But yeah.
Well, you've tried, and you do a lot for the community, and so we appreciate it. We've been talking about the grand marshal for the parade, and I was like, "Can Alan do it? Can Alan do it?" And Bob and Penny were like, "He's already been at the front of the parade." So,
well, thank you. You guys got a good choice in David.
Yeah, David Avis. I actually haven't announced that yet, so maybe people, if they've listened to 20 minutes of podcast here, David Avis is going to be our grand marshal for the parade, just because of the stuff that you just talked about.
Matt, how could they not have gone through this entire thing? Like, I'm thinking they're going to play it twice. But before they do that, let's make sure we get our other sponsors in there too, right? We've got Alston and Bird, Georgia's Own Credit Union, Interlocket, JWB Realty Services, the PCID, Piedmont Bank, and who's been a really good partner with us too has been Savannah Distributors. They have been really nice about helping us out with the booze for the event.
Because you have so much there.
If I showed you my order, you would be impressed. It's a lot. And also the reporter Rough Draft has been great with helping us get the word out. So
those seem like a lot of our parade sponsors as well. So most of those companies really give back to the community. That's nice.
You talking about the community and the nonprofits and all that kind of stuff. There's these companies and these organizations that continually just step up to support a lot of the big things that are going on in our community. And yeah, it's great to see similar names across the board for things.
Yeah, and the ones that aren't our sponsors, I wrote down, and so I'm gonna.
Don't worry, I do the same for your parade. Don't worry, it's all good.
Well, thanks for coming on, Alan. Always a pleasure. And you've done a lot of cool stuff for the Spruill Center. If nothing else, if you're listening to the show and you want a place to take your kids, go check out that courtyard and get closer to the arts.
Or if you want to bring your friends, spouses, whatever, you can come hang out. We're in the entertainment district too, so you can walk from the village over here with a beverage if you want. And, we only are offering about 250 classes this quarter. So I pretty much guarantee if you want to dip your toe in the artistic waters, there's something for you.
Awesome. Well, cool. Thanks for your time, Alan.
Thanks, Matt. Good talking with you.
You too.